You listen to Kamala Harris talk about a plan for Black America. They've rolled out a plan for Black America. My grandfather told me a very long time ago, never trust a man who promises to do tomorrow what they had the power to do yesterday. If Kamala Harris was so committed to these plans for Black men in particular, she's had many instances where she could have done these things as a senator, as an attorney general, and certainly in her capacity as a vice president. So I do believe that when you have that type of interview talking about a multi-trillion.
If you believe that Donald Trump has somehow become less popular over time, let me change your mind about that. In fact, he is more popular at this point in the campaign than he was at this point in the 2020 campaign.
Yes, watching a black consecutive destroy the mainstream media and the Democrat establishment is amazing. When I saw this guy, I could not resist than to react, share my thought. The interview took place days ago, but what I see with the mainstream media, they are still pained that this interview didn't go the way they planned. Now, I don't believe at this time, no matter what you're doing can change the minds of people. They have already made up their mind, especially undecided voters. Whatever thing insult they are pouring now, like I saw Kamala recently saying, "Oh, Trump is exhausted. He cannot take interviews again. He cannot take this." When I look at the number of work hours he put in every single day, Kamala cannot stand that. Kamala has just been there for a few weeks doing campaign. Trump has been there for a very long time. So I don't get the point.
Black men are tired of what appears to be empty promises coming from a Democratic Party.
I mean, Joe, if you're honest with yourself, I'm sure there's some times where you would appreciate if your candidate would be more, quote unquote, scripted.
Look, I think there's a few things happening here, right? I've said it many times on this network. Vice President Kamala Harris, she wants to have her Kate and Edith too. She wants to have all the good things that come from the Biden administration. She wants to leave all the bags of the Biden administration behind her. I think if you're just looking at the core issues pertaining to the Black community, the civil rights issue of our time is education. Democrats have nominated a woman who is against school choice. They have a vice presidential candidate who is against school choice. And you have the gatekeeper for a large voter bloc that didn't ask any real questions about the civil rights issue of our time. To say that we have schools where 80% of Black children cannot read at proficient levels all across this country. And so it is a scourge that is preventing Black men from getting the tools they need in their young life to move forward. And I think if there are a lot of Black people who are saying Democrats have told us that Donald Trump is terrible, but I'm not going to allow my vote to be taken hostage by a party that continues to not deliver results every time I place my trust in their hands.
He did have a record low for Black unemployment.
I would just simply say that to that point, right? I think we have to dispense with some of.
When you look at this CNN anchor, she is stunned. She is speechless. Look at what he just said, putting out exactly what they have been doing for a very long time. And they thought people are stupid. You cannot vote somebody every time. They are that intelligent now to see what they've been doing. Okay, just imagine Kamala getting a few days to the elect. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this to Black men. It was like an insult to them. Yes, they've been saying that every time. Okay, just imagine now these same people get up and cast a vote for her. When they go in there, what they promise, they don't do, which is insane. Politicians are fond of this. I like someone that act without promises. When you do these promises, at the end of the day, you don't respect it like they have been doing in the past. That is where people lost trust on the case like Kamala here.
Saying Democrats have told us that Donald Trump is terrible, but I'm not going to allow my vote to be taken hostage by a party that continues to not deliver results. When you look at what Black men are really moved by, they're moved by the fact that the Democratic Party is not actually treating them fairly. That you had the only Black Republican man in the Senate who ran for president being called the equivalent of a slave that Harriet Tubman should have left behind. And no one lost their job and not a single person was fired. And so I appreciate that Sherwin says that it's good to live in America where Black men can voice their opinion independent of somebody telling them how to do so. But it is quite clear that from many people on the cable news that they have been given license to talk crazy and out of their neck about black men who are not interested in voting for Kamala Harris. And I think, unfortunately, for not just the Democratic Party, but America, those chickens might come home to roost on November 4th.
All right, Joe,
There were a lot of unanswered questions.
Yes, this is just a normal interview that Trump has been taking throughout the year. I don't know why this is news. Democrats are freaking out like never before. This is what one posted on Twitter recently. Kamala Harris handled an ambush Fox News interview like years better than the harsh Donald Trump unstable made of the Fox News prep rally discussed as a town hall. A lot of people have said replying this guy, they had to laugh him all through. Ambush, that was just a regular interview. You are used to CBS at 60 Minutes editing her on ABC News feeding her question. Sorry, your candidate has a lower IQ than those who are medically diagnosed as mentally handicapped. I don't want to go much into that. That is just someone replying to this Democrat, putting this out like this was an ambush. I don't get the point here. The real interviews that I want to see Kamala.
For why Biden and Harris threw out Donald Trump's executive orders and changed everything, and then a flood of people came in. An ounce of humility here would go a long way, and she doesn't have it in her to do it, and she has no real answer other than to blame Congress. And Brett was right. Democrats controlled everything when they took over, and so is she saying it's the Democrats' fault that the immigration system is broken? I don't understand this. I don't understand why she can't just say, hindsight here, we shouldn't have done it. I think the American people would actually accept it, but she won't do it.
Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, you know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, I had to dismount there at the end.
Yes, away from the debate, let's talk about Taylor Swift. Pennsylvania Republicans and independents turned on Taylor Swift and toward Trump. Taylor Swift is in her partisan-hack area, and it reflects in the pop star tattered reputations with Pennsylvania Republicans, a blank space that won't be fixed with a simple call to shake it off. Yes, new polling from this university shows Swift is swiftly losing appeal with Gov registrants and the Keystone State in a classic case of look what you made them do. A whopping 61% of Republicans have bad blood with the Queen of Pop, just 16% approve of her. Independents aren't exactly fans of the left-leaning singer-songwriter either, showing her image has eroded since she waded into the presidential campaign this year, backing Kamala. An anemic 23% approve of Swift, with 45% disapproving. So when it comes to non-aligned voters and the song actress, they are never ever going back. Yes, I often say this frequently. If you are a celebrity, it is high time you don't put your mind into politics. Now, look at a number of people who usually support her daily. They have lost interest because of how she came into politics and the reasons she outlined endorsing Kamala.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here? Absolutely no.
No, not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
These Latino men, these strivers who are coming in, they're not coming for so-called black jobs. Black men don't want those jobs. Black men don't want to work in kitchens. They don't want to work mowing lawns.
Turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
You look at Kamala, she's angry. That is just to tell you that when you challenge her with real hard questions with proof, she's not happy about it. B. Maha is still having the guts to say this.
It's 25 days before the election, and I got to say, it's not looking that great for the Democrats.
Look at what Democrats are experiencing.
And sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa.
You know, Whoopi, you always say you don't believe in polls. I'm with you now.
Running mate. Same reason you don't throw a birthday party for Diddy.
Well, this is a problem.
Please register to vote for something else.
Care if they write that. No, it was right, and you got.
I'm going to shake it off.
It's like 73% said they're voting for Trump.
Okay, yeah.
You hired me 4 times.
I tell him, I'm like, I'll just pop.
How dumb are you?
Kind there too, right?
That's 100% right.